Sometimes, boys and girls, we just want to see a little bit of rage. Sometimes you want to feel the rage, sometimes you want to hear the rage, sometimes you want to see the rage. Now, if you are a Khorne follower, that tends to happen a little bit more often. But we've not got any Khorne followers this time, we've just got Cry playing as the PC. The Plague Champion. Oh, would you look at that? My Pokemon Sleep Snorlax needs feeding. Well, I'll get to that in a minute, won't I? So, he's going to be facing off against Deimos in this 1v1 on Seraph Palace. The map with all the shot blockers. God, I hate the shot blockers. Well, not really the shot blockers, just the uncrushable ones. These tank traps, they're the worst. Oh, lucky special on the Farseer there. Instantly yeeting the PC off of the post. I'm going to get a little bit of pew-pew, but there you go, look. Hey, uncrushable cover. And the Farseer is going to chill on it. Guiding the Guardians to make them have a little bit longer range. It looks like a lot of the models there are shooting at this CSM, so you've got to be careful. He might die. But nah, they're alright. They've got that heavy infantry armor. They're chilling. I'm not sure the Heretics are going to be able to finish capping this, though, before the Banshees get into melee. Indeed, the Banshees are going to get in melee. They can do that early Doom Blast to try and buy a little bit of time to soft retreat. But now the PC's in trouble as well. Going to force another Doom Blast so the PC can get refuge in the garrison. Otherwise, there was a risk of the PC being hit by a special attack of the Banshees, and that could have led to the PC dying. That's how you know this is a high-level game. Cry anticipated the risk there and negated it with his Heretic, but Cry going for something very weird here, going for the double CSM, not double Heretics, which is not optimal. There's absolutely no argument that's valid that could say that double CSM is optimal here. I don't know, maybe Cry will argue it in the comments, but probably not. He's probably just memeing. You know, got to play with his food, hasn't he? But we'll see. The problem is, now you're behind on power as Chaos. Deimos has got way more power with the 2 gens. He's got this tier 1.5 Shuriken out, and quite frankly, that just completely negates basically any squad that Cry has. And with the uncrushable green cover, it's actually even worse than that. It's a very laney map. You are going to take forever to be able to outshoot this thing behind the green cover. And if you blob up, this one Shuriken can count your whole army. And of course, they're not that expensive. So we have to expect a second Shuriken coming up afterwards, which is what we see. So then you get Raptors eventually as the Chaos player. And what happens? Oh, then there's a third Shuriken. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, but you wouldn't typically go 2 CSM for this reason. On the plus side, it will give him a lot of range scaling in tier 2. If he can get rid of the Shurikens, and he gets things like Bloodletters to counter them and make them less effective in tier 2, then, you know, it could be nice. He'll certainly be able to pew-pew the Eldar from afar. And it will help focus fire the Farseer, which is the primary benefit. Very close to losing the Heretics there. Fortunately, Shuriken Pistols and the Banshees are really not that powerful of a weapon. Gonna probably lose CSM. This guy looks like he's gonna die. Wow, how is he not dead? There you go. Go on, lass. Just took down that Chaos Space Marine. Oh, lady. So now we got some Rangers coming out for Deimos. Raptors have hit the field here. Yeah, oh, he doesn't realise. Oh, that's awkward. Yeah, so he jumps right into the firing arc there of the other Shuriken, but the suppression's keeping this Shuriken in the melee range of the Raptors for quite some time. He gets one of the models, goes for his second jump, and that forces the retreat on the Shuriken. And actually, the Raptors are now in a pretty good position to deal with the other Shuriken, so it worked out pretty good there. No Doombringer you see on the Farseer to improve her DPS, as well as, of course, the damage output of that Shuriken, when the Raptors were just face tanking it. And then you could stack the damage resistance of the Shuriken Pistols of the Rangers on top of that, but in fact, no, you can't do that anymore because he's got long rifles, not Shuriken Pistols. So going to rotate the Rangers to focus fire the Plague Champion there, Plague Champion in tandem with the, what's this, 5 CSM, forcing off the Farseer at last. Guardians running around without any battle equipment right now, so not the most effective. They do have that little bit extra HP now, though, compared to the prior patch. Honestly, probably would have bled a model already here if it was the prior patch. Wow, how have they not bled a model? Oh my god. So lucky on the Guardians there. Certainly last patch they would have 100% bled a model there. Interesting. Not sure why Guardians needed to be able to trade better out of the gate, but that was the change. So a Plague Champion trying to utilise the worship there. It's pretty good when you're in cover, since it's a flat amount of HP healing. But of course you're taking way less damage when you're in cover. Problem is the Plague Champion is only one model, so it's literally 3 times as effective if you use it on a squad of CSM than the PC. So they were able to overwhelm him there. That is part of the reason why ranges are quite nice in this matchup though. The Shurikens, whilst they can control a lot of the units, if you are in green cover, as you see right now, this is pretty close range, right? This isn't like total max range, but just they don't do a lot of damage to units in cover. Rangers, being snipers, completely ignore cover. So that is kind of a big deal. Farseer guides herself, the Raptors don't want none of that. You'd be surprised by the Farseer's DPS in general. A lot of people don't really realise, but Farseer default DPS is 35. The Warlock only has 30 default DPS, so the Farseer is actually doing a lot more, and she's got a pretty damn good special too. And of course with Guide, she's doing even more damage. 30% extra damage, so yeah, you don't really want to tango with her in melee. Maybe when they get the Aspiring Champion, they can beat her up with Demonic Fury and all that. Certainly when she hasn't got a weapon upgrade. But for now, what's going on? Why is the Farseer getting XP? Killed a couple of heretics, maybe? Probably caught a couple of heretics. Feeding the Farseer up a little bit. She has picked up that Armour of Fortune, so that's her tanky melee hero armour. And yeah, the Farseer can do that. So you'll see given a 150 extra max HP, 2.5 HP regen, just making it hard to get rid of, but you know, you've got double CSM and the Plague Champion, so there's definitely tools to handle that here. And this is a nice use of the worship. All these guys not losing any models, but not full HP either. Yeah, it's a good time to worship, but right now you're going to use the heretics to take on the wreck point. This is the problem. No real counter to the Shuriken. Going to pin these things in place. Rangers just outputting a lot of good DPS against the CSM, really. Yeah, they're going to retreat before they lose a model to the snipers. What's going on over here? We've got Raptors capping the map. And in terms of tech, Cry is already going tier 2. So Deimos a little bit behind, but not too far. He's going to be able to go to tier 2 now, and he's got a really good float in terms of requisition, which is very powerful for Eldar in tier 2, because they have a lot of requisition intensive purchases. Well, basically all their infantry and the Autarch, the sub-commander. It's just their vehicles that require a reasonable amount of power. But if you think Fire Dragons, Dark Reapers, Wraithguard, Warp Spiders, Autarch, they're all way more requisition than they are power relatively compared to vehicle purchases. There's also not that many upgrades to get in tier 2 with your leaders. And honestly, like the squad leaders on the Banshees and the Warp Spider Exarch, they're almost as requisition intensive as they are power intensive. So generally the Eldar do have quite a requisition intensive tier 2. Certainly if the tier 2 is going to be elongated. So I wouldn't worry too much about this. Though Warp Spiders are usually the choice against Chaos in tier 2, but the fact that we've got Raptors here means you're unlikely to see Bloodletters, because the jump ability is somewhat redundant. And you typically bleed too much if you have both Raptors and Bloodletters, and you just end up completely running out of requisition. So usually it's one or the other. But the fact that we have Raptors and not Bloodletters means we have heavy infantry, and then the fact that we have 2 CSM instead of the typical 1 CSM 2 heretics means we have 1, 2, 3 heavy infantry, whereas normally you'd only have the CSM. You'd have 2 heretics which are light and the Bloodletters which are light. You see what I mean here? So against this build, Warp Spiders are going to be a lot less effective than the typical build where you see Bloodletters and 2 heretics. So we'll have to wait and see what Deimos goes for. Dark Reaper's not really meta. Not really very good outside of team games. For now, the first purchase is going to be a Falcon, which will hard counter this Blood Crusher because it's just as fast. But of course it can shoot with an AV weapon whilst driving away from the Blood Crusher. But a really nice charge there, knocking over 4 of the Banshees right at the end. Banshee's going to try and claim a model before getting out of there. They do claim one of the models, but the Blood Crusher has now claimed one of them. Probably going to get another. Yep. A couple of the ladies down. Wow. Bile Spewer purchase here. And a Shrine going up. I wonder if Cry thinks he's further ahead in tech than he is. mean, if he gets the full bash, that'll be really, really nice for him, but I don't know how likely that is. I'd probably Demonic Fury this Farseer away, just get rid of her. Yeah. And now you can worship with the Heretics, you can zone with the Blood Crusher, and the Raptors. Ooh, a Bright Lance in the back too. That's a lot. Blood Crusher probably needs to get out of there. Of course, that Demonic Maul is heavy melee, so that's putting a little bit of pressure onto the Falcon as well, but unfortunately Raptor's suppressed there by the base turret, but that is enough time to be able to finish the bash. Wow, he's even staying in this fight with Touch of Nurgle. Damn. Oh, but the rear frigging Raptor was the one that blew up with Touch of Nurgle, so then the Touch of Nurgle explosion that heals and damages your units and damages the enemies, it goes on cooldown. So when the frontal ones died, it didn't really do anything, so quite frankly, that Touch of Nurgle was a total waste. He had to replace the Aspirant Champion, and he had to get 2 Raptor models reinforced. So that was a really expensive fight for Cry that was not really necessary. He obviously should have just retreated straight out. Right now he is focusing a lot on keeping the pressure on here and ensuring Deimos doesn't get any power, but like I said earlier, Eldar don't really need that much power. Once they've got their first vehicle out, that's kind of it. The infantry choices aren't super expensive in power. He's got his Exarch. He's got a fully upgraded Guardian squad as well, so I'm not really concerned for Deimos at all, and I think Cry has made a major error here, overextending like this. Taking all that bleed on the Raptors, I just don't think it was worth it. But on the plus side, he's really far ahead in VPs. Ooh, let's see if the Falcon can chase down the Blood Crusher here. We haven't got any worship support for the Blood Crusher. Falcon prioritizing CSM like an idiot. Probably want to run the CSM forward so that the pulse laser thing that does the AV starts shooting the CSM and not the Blood Crusher, but we've got it under... Oh, it's getting repaired by the PC and healed by the worship from the Heretics, and that's probably going to be enough. Oh my god, you think I was in fucking Ukraine or something? With a Chaos. Anyway, yeah, Chaos. Yeah, Blood Crusher. Getting healed, lives, survives. Raptors, what's happening to them? Not bleeding any models this time, but it seems they got beat up by the Banshees. I don't know what happened, I wasn't watching, I was away. I was AFK! Midcast, brilliant. Oh god, guys, that's tough. I don't know, this Battle Spree was a really interesting tech, to be fair. It's probably worth it, getting the full bash. It's just so awkward that you can't just swap back to the bolter, right? Because as far as the weapon's concerned, it's not very helpful. I mean, it's not useless. It ignores the cover that I was whinging about earlier, so that's something. It also, I believe, reduces damage. Yeah, so if you hit an enemy with this, it lowers their damage by 20%. If you hit the Banshees, I don't know, by the way, if that's model-based, or if you just hit anyone in a squad, it lowers the entire squad's damage by 20%. But either way, it does splash, so if you've got a melee fight with your Raptors and you hit the Banshees with your Valspewer, it will help a lot. But check it out, we've actually got the Singing Spear, the highest DPS melee weapon on the Farseer, but not something that you see too often. Heretics need to get out of there, they're looking in a very tricky position, but nothing able to deal with the Raptors on the back lines there. Banshee's a little bit too low on HP. Farseer's chasing the Heretic, trying to kill it. We do have the Mark of Tzeentch Havoc here. Oh wow, she gets it. Go on, Farseer. Didn't even need the Warlock Swift Movement Global. Look at this bitch. She's crazy. She's got Fortune on herself right now, giving her 30% damage resistance. Rear armor shot on the last cannon though, but it is out of range. And it looks like both the players will just zone one another out here, kind of thing. Perhaps the Rangers could move up and deal with the last cannon, and then the Falcon could come back in. We'll have to see. I've been muted. Brilliant. Wow, this is an absolute disaster. Absolute disaster. I was just saying I'm continuing from this point. I don't know if the edit... Well, the edit will be terrible. I'm not gonna... There's gonna be a cut. I was just complaining about how I'm doing this cast completely last minute. It's now 5:05 and the cast needs to be uploaded at 6. I haven't rendered it yet. Never mind, uploaded it. Added the thumbnail and the title. Well, we could always do it at 7 o'clock, couldn't we? Anyway. It was a really nice grenade that we seen earlier, wasn't it? I was quite happy about that, but you didn't hear that. God damn it. I was saying that the composition for Deimos right now was looking pretty great, but actually I love the choice of the CPM. I'm a little bit less sure about the decision to just bum rush in with the CPM when the Farseer is still stood there with her singing spear. What? Oh wow, another beautiful grenade. Well, perhaps less of a beautiful grenade in that instance and more of a kind of lack of micro from Cry, but then again, what the heck, he just killed the Falcon. Oh, it must have been super low. Wow, I am just completely not present right now. Guardians get away with just their Warlock. Guardians down here were doing a bit of gen bashing. Why did Deimos get late Guardians? That's kind of weird. I don't remember the last time I ever seen that. That's interesting. They're not a bad unit, but... I think I'd still just go for, like, Warp Spiders or something. I don't know, I guess Warp Spiders are a lot more commitment. Can the Bolt Pistols finish off the Bright Lance? Could be useful if Cry somehow gets a tier 3. I guess he could get a Dreadnought out as well, couldn't he? Perhaps. But as it stands right now, Deimos is going to be the one going tier 3, not Cry. Is Cry going to win this? I mean, he is so far ahead in VPs right now, but compositionally he is quite lacking with only 3 units. I mean, I guess Deimos' units aren't that terrifying. A couple of Guardians. Bright Lance is useless. Rangers aren't that crazy. But yeah, you don't want to pick a tango with the Chosen Plague Marines in melee. I'd love for these guys to be made into Plague Bearers. Stats marginally nerfed so they can get the demon benefits from worship. I mean, they fight like Plague Bearers. Why are Chosen Plague Marines, like, really good melee brawlers that benefit one another when they die, but can't use ranged guns? Like, what? No, that sounds like Plague Bearers to me. Maybe give them a random debuff effect when they die to nearby enemies. Could be cool. Anyway. Noxious Cloud. I don't really know why that Noxious Cloud was utilised, but I do see something interesting here. Plague Champion forcing off that Guardian squad. Have they got... No, he doesn't have the Armour of Pestilence, so he's not that tanky. But I guess it's the fact that he can ignore the cover is pretty nice. Good positioning here, gonna get a nice gen bash. Gets a gen. Probably won't get more than that. Suppressed and Farseer running into melee. Raptors hiding in the building. Yeah, they don't want to fight the Banshees one-on-one. Definitely going to favour the Banshees when they're level 3. If the Raptors could land on top of the Banshees with a jump and instantly yeet the Exarch with the Demonic Fury, I think they actually beat them. If they're the same level, but not when the Banshees are a level higher. Because of course that means the Banshees can proc specials on the Raptors, and the Raptors can't proc specials on the Banshees. Fire Prism is going to be the initial choice here for Deimos. Ooh, is he going to get the Plague Champ? He does! Armour of Pestilence taking a little bit too long. Likewise with the Havocs on their setup. But the Farseer gets suppressed and she is going to have to leave. And once again, the VPs are ticking down for Deimos. Quite considerably as well. It's a 2-0 cap. Deimos is going to do something. Can the Fire Prism do the thing that he needs? I mean, it will certainly be able to chain knock back the CPM, but as you can see, the actual damage per second is kind of lacking. We can mostly negate them. Not sure what the lol is. Oh. Oh, I missed it. I missed the lol moment. Too busy watching a fire prism. He just... Why did... What? He Eldritch Stormed a lone raptor? Like, I don't understand. I'm a bit confused. It is a triple cap against Deimos right now, and that's not good for his tier 3. And it is taking so long to kill the CPM right now that he is in trouble. Raptors are getting a flank on the Shuriken. Banshees don't want to fight CPM. And these guys have got full models, so even though it looks like they've got very little HP, when they explode they're going to heal one another, and that's bad. What's the Shuriken doing? It never retreated? Okay. Okay, I can imagine why Deimos is raging right now. At least he routed the CS7 on this side with the Guardians in the far seer. The Raptor's going to go out. PC and CPM moving down. Nice little heal there with the Mucus. Of course, these CPM are healing quite a lot right now, thanks to their regen. Check it out. Another Noxious Cloud. Just trying to delay the cap as much as possible. Yeah, he's got to stay on the unit capping though. He does, he stops the decap. It's a 2-to-1 cap now. 30. No, it's a 2-to-0 cap. This was decapped on the right. He hasn't actually caught it yet with the CPM. Plague Champion really trying his best to delay here, and the Fire Prism unable to knock the CPM off the point. Banshees will kill the Plague Champion. Can the CPM win this melee brawl? Oof. They don't want to take it. Raptor's rear armor on the Prism. What damage? More than half his health gone already. Jeez. Yeah, sometimes you just don't want the Fire Prism, do you? You really just want a Predator, like a fast attack normal tank, not a tank hunter sort of artillery unit. I mean, you do kind of have a choice. You can go for a Falcon and just give it the Pulse Shield in tier 3, which is very similar to a typical fast attack tank. It is slower than a tank, but it's tougher. Less DPS though. But it's the same function. It's definitely closer in function to a Predator than a Fire Prism, which is quite distinct and different. But it's going to be a Chaos Dreadnought for Cry. And that sort of surprise factor there, that change in terms of the composition, might be all he needs to get a quick 2-to-1 cap, which, given that Deimos only has 19 VPs, could be all it requires for Cry to win. So he's moving up with his whole army. Raptor's not fully reinforced, CSM not fully healed. Really relying on the surprise factor here of the Dreadnought. Let's see. The initial burst from the Prism is in disperse mode and going to cause a lot of knockback, buying time for the Eldar infantry to reposition. The Banshees are going to charge forward, suppress the CPM and force off the CSM. And you see that the Raptors prioritised jumping to the side to deal with the Bright Lance so that the Dreadnought can run rampant, now utilising the Shock Blocker to prevent it from being hit by the Fire Prism, which of course outranges it considerably. Now the Dreadnought's going to take position again behind this wall to zone out the Prism, whilst the Raptors attempt the decap. What are you going to do, Prism? Are you going to go into disperse mode and disrupt the Raptors? And the same focus and try and hit the Dreadnought. The Dreadnought moves forward, zones the Fire Prism. Guardians are moving in to try and pew-pew those Raptors. CPM are ignoring them. I don't think they can just cap like this. There is a grenade possible as well. Yeah. They do have to get rid of the Guardians, and they're not going to be able to finish this cap. But the beautiful thing is the CSM have sneaked over here with only 2 models and are on that cap. Nothing's dealing with a CPM. Going to require an Autark call-in, I suspect. He's not doing it though, he's going for Seer Council. He's not in dispersed mode, and he can't actually knock the PC over anyway. He's got the Armour of Pestilence, which makes him knockback immune. And the Raptors and the Dreadnought are going to be able to kill this Prism, which is kind of hilarious. And Deimos is not going to be able to get on the VPs because he can't stop the CPM in the corner. Yeah. Brilliant. Brilliant, 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 brilliant. Well, there you go. A little bit of Chaos versus Eldar action. I don't know how Cry managed to win that one. Team compositionally, he was behind for a very long time, but I suppose all throughout Tier 1 and for most of Tier 2, he had a huge VP lead. Well, it's going to be all for your boy Torpid this time. I am signing out.